guys, it's Mare. Today we're going to be talking about tempos and pauses, how we can add them into our workouts, and what are they used for. So tempos and pauses are perfect for our progressive overload without having to add more weight. So especially if you're restricted on your weights, if you don't have as many higher dumbbells, if you add in those tempos and pauses, can really just add into that extra challenge of that set. So your pauses and your tempos really help your time under tension, which means that you're going to be increasing that time and really making sure that you're keeping all of your muscles tight while you're doing that motion. And sometimes we add those in at the most challenging part of our lift, whether it's at the bottom of our lift, the top of our lift, really make sure that we're focusing on our form. So there are two different types of tempo. There are negative tempos and there are positive tempos. First, let's talk about our negative tempos. For our negative tempos, it's going to be on the contrasting part. So as we are descending, like in our squats that I'll show you, we're descending. This is our negative tempos versus our positive, which is the opposite direction. What we want to make sure is we're not relaxing when we are doing these. We are making sure that we're keeping all of our muscles really tense. So for our regular squat, we all know how it goes. We just squat down and back up. But for our negatives, we're going to take probably a 5-second tempo. So we're going to go down and just count, keeping our nice and tight and then firing it back up. Nice and slow for our negative and fire. This is really gonna help us build our strength, really make sure we're focusing on form. We don't really have to add a lot of weight to it, which is also really nice. A little bit more challenging, really help us focusing on building up your form. So now we're gonna talk about our positive tempos. For our negative tempos, remember negatives are when we are going down and we are contracting in that downward positioning. This time for our positives is our upward position. And we're gonna do it on our hack squat here. So let me set this up. So what we're really gonna focus on is instead of coming really slow down, we're gonna go really slow up. It's pretty less commonly used, but can still be really effective in hypertrophy and in building our strength. We are going to do our positive up. So we're still gonna do our regular squat down, but then we're gonna just nice and slow, keeping extra tension up as we go upward for our positive tempo. Again, really focusing on keeping all of our muscles tight and just really focusing on our form. Again, less commonly used, but still can be really effective. Now for pauses, it's exactly what it sounds like. We stop the motion. We are pausing whichever motion we're doing, whether that's squats, whether that's deadlifts. It can be applied to pretty much any lift. So this is either gonna be at full contraction, where all of your muscles are contracted down, or at full stretch. But again, it just creates that time under tension. And also a really good tip is these pauses don't give you a break. When you are at the bottom, we are not relaxing all of our muscles. We are not just living our life here at the bottom. We wanna make sure that we're keeping all of our muscles really tight to complete our lift. So we're gonna just pause down here, making sure that I'm staying tight and firing it back up. Pretty easy peasy. It is so great in order to help build your strength by really making sure that we're keeping all of our muscles and really focusing on that form, keeping all our muscles tight, time under tension, so important. All right, so now that we have learned about our negative tempos, our positive tempos, and our pauses, let's apply them to a workout. First, we're gonna start with our paused bench. I always like to start with a compound lift, and today is bench day. So for our bench, I'm gonna do a 5x5 of our paused bench. Remember, our pauses is right here at the bottom, making sure we are staying tight in our full stretch. No relaxing at the bottom here. All right, so now that we are done with my compound lift, which was my bench press, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do some push downs to hit my triceps, and we're gonna do some negative tempos. So as I'm going down, remember our negatives are nice and slow down and back up. All right, for this one, we are going to do a positive. When my leg is coming up, we are going at the full contraction of the full stretch, and we're gonna pause it at the top, and I'm gonna do single leg. So we're just gonna add in all of the different factors, all of the different challenges. These are so great to get a really nice bump. Again, you don't need to add a ton of weight. now we're going to do curls. I love curls. Curls for the girls, and we're gonna add a pause right at the top at our full contraction here, just to really get a nice pump. Now, to show you a really great positive tempo, we're gonna do sumos, and I'm really gonna focus on my form. Sumo deadlifts get very tricky for a lot of people, and always doing those positives really help focus on that form. Again, that time under tension to really focus on it. Not too heavy of weight. And that's it. Tempos and pauses, keeping that time under tension. These are so good. Make sure to add them into your workout. These are such great for strength training, really focusing on our form and all of our lifts. I want to thank Fit Club for letting me come in and work out today. Get out there and get lifting.